and then stabbed him twice in the abdomen with a large kitchen knife. Mr. Yee's wounds were such that he is now in serious condition at L.A. County Hospital. This was a brutal crime, Your Honor. The defendant knew Mr. Yee well. He's been a close friend of the defendant's family for many years. He came with them, in fact, to this country from their native Laos several years ago.
Excuse me, Your Honor, this really isn't relevant to the issue.
How about we leave that up to me, Miss O'Neill?
The people are simply concerned that if released on bail, Miss Tao will harm someone else. Mr. Yee's brother, perhaps.
Objection, Your Honor. That's completely off the point. I mean, what is he planning? To list all the people in the county of Los Angeles that he imagines my 5'2", 100-pound client might attack?
Sustained. Mr. Delgado, you about at the end of this yet?
I'd simply like to say that a substantial bail is imperative.
Then say it.
The people request bail be set at $50,000.
Miss O'Neill?
Your Honor, Miss Tao has only been in this country for 3 years. She's a member of a Laotian tribe called the Hmong, and they're rather primitive by Western standards and totally unaccustomed to city life. Now, until coming to the U.S. at age 15, Miss Tao had never even seen an electric light or a gas stove or a telephone. She lives with her parents in a particularly dangerous neighborhood in South Central Los Angeles and is in fear for her life on a daily basis.
Objection, Your Honor. I myself grew up 2 blocks from where Miss Tao currently resides, and I never stabbed anyone with a kitchen knife.
You didn't spend the first 15 years of your life hearing stories about the terrible things that the American giants do to you here, nor have you ever worried about getting raped.
Okay, folks, let's relax. Are you going somewhere with this, Ms. O'Neill?
I am trying to establish the context in which my client acted, Your Honor. It is critical to understanding the events of that night.
All right, just hustle it up. Objection overruled.
When Mr. Yee and his brother intruded unannounced into her home, it was dark. Miss Tao couldn't see them, and she assumed they were intent on harming her. And quite simply, she defended herself. Now, Your Honor, my client has been diligently studying English for the past 3 years. She lives at home with her parents, who are all she has in this country. She's in no way a flight risk, and so I request that she be released on her own recognizance.
Objection, Your Honor. Mr. Yee is critically injured.
Well, then tell him to knock or ring the bell next
well,
time.
if he ever gets out.
Miss O'Neill, save the fiery temper for the trial, okay? All right. I'm inclined to agree with the defense on this one, but Mr. Delgado's concerns are valid. I'll grant OR provided Miss Tao maintains her residence and calls her probation officer daily. If she is anywhere other than her home or her job, all bets are off. Agreed?
I'll guarantee it, Your Honor.
Fine. Let's set a date for...
No.
Excuse me?
Pardon me, Your Honor. What's wrong?
I don't want to go home.
Why not?
I just don't want to go.
Yeah, there's something wrong at home. Is someone hurting you there?
No.
But Yin, if you don't go home, your only option is jail.
And that is where I will go.
Are you sure?
Ms. O'Neill, is there some sort of problem you'd like to share with the court? I was thinking I might like to hear a few of the other 47 cases on the docket today.
Your Honor, my client wishes to reject the offer of release and to remain in county custody.
This case will be set Friday. Next.
Mother, we should have done this on a different day. Then we could have had a real lunch.
I know. I just wanted to talk to you.
About what?
Your sister. I'm worried about her.
You're not the only one.
I just don't understand it. This whole thing seems so out of the blue.
Oh, I don't think so. It started when Rose was born. Terminal postpartum depression.
Actually, the children concern me.
Oh, Mother, those children are her life. That's the last thing you should worry about.
They're the ones who could suffer. I never thought that a daughter of mine would let a stranger raise her children.
What?
Well, what's she going to do? Take them with her?
What are you talking about?
Your sister. She did tell you, didn't she?
Tell me what?
Oh, nothing. No, well, you know, Doreen. Oh, why, I didn't realize it was so late, sweetheart. I've got a hair appointment.
Mother?
You got to get back to work. Oh, I'll call you later. I promise.
Mother, come back here.
Mommy hates it when I'm late.
Mother!
You got 5 more minutes.
2 more clients. Andrew Brown.
I got nowhere with his girlfriend. One of his homeboys thinks that Andrew was framed. Of course, he also tells me that Andrew owes him $1,000, so it's in his best interest to keep Andrew out of prison.
Have you interviewed the SWAT commander? Because there's a lot of ambiguity in the police report.
I'll talk to him.
Very good. Yin Tao.
The nip with the knife.
The young woman who protected herself, and she's Laotian.
Whatever.
Yeah, they all look alike, right?
Yeah, her tribe sticks together like gummy rice. Ugh. Won't talk to strangers.
Not even sensitive ones like you?
Hey, I'm as sensitive as the next guy.
Right. As long as the next guy's David Duke.
This ain't your case, Mitchell.
Could we move this along?
I managed to find a Presbyterian minister who runs a drop-in center. Helps them adjust to civilization. To me, it's a waste of time. These people are like out of the Dark Ages. Can't write, read, take care of themselves. I mean, their idea of high tech is a screwdriver. They're like children.
Yeah, well, 30,000 of these children died fighting our secret war in their country. We trained them, we used them, we armed them, and then we spit them out to the VC when we left.
What are we now? A history professor?
That is the idea, Kovac. I mean, this is history. It is called immigration, you know what I'm saying? I mean, the country's founded on it. That's how your people got here, remember?
Oh, tell me they're gonna be better off living over here, living on dung heaps supported by welfare.
Yeah, well, at least they're alive.
Enough, all right? It's enough. Jeez. Kovac, I asked you a simple question. How about a simple answer?
The girl's got an old man who's some kind of hotshot. That's about as far as I got.
Great. Look, I'd like to argue self-defense, but I don't have any hard facts except Yin's story.
Well, no sign of breaking and entering in the police report. You know that.
I know that, but she's adamant that she thought they were intruders.
Well, maybe she lied.
In this office, we start by believing our clients.
Oh. And sometimes a cigar is a cigar.
And sometimes it's not. So do a little more digging around the Hmong community, okay?
Oh, yes. Digging for loopholes. My favorite pastime.
Hey, he's thorough and he knows the streets.
Yeah. He hates everybody on him.
And that's when you stabbed him?
Yes.
The report says that you called the ambulance. Where was his brother at this point?
I can't remember.
Yin, how well did you know Lao?
Came from the refugee camps with us.
Was he your boyfriend?
No. Nothing like that.
Well, then why do you think they came in like that? I mean, they just came in.
It is common back home. In my village, there are huts only. We come and go. But here, I am very nervous always.
Well, then why was your door unlocked?
It wasn't.
Yin, how did the Yees get in? I mean, there's no evidence of a break-in.
I don't know.
Yin, we've got a problem. The only witness is Chu. And of course, he's going to corroborate his brother's story, and he insists that you stabbed Lao for no reason.
I protected myself. Why am I the one in trouble?
Let me ask you something. Why did you refuse to go home? The judge was on your side.
My father would not want me in his house.
Did he say that?
I brought him shame.
You defended yourself.
In my father's eyes, I was wrong. His eyes are all that matter.
Yin, I know you told me he didn't. But are you sure your father's never hurt you?
No.
I mean physically, beaten you or...
My father is a hero. He stood up against the Viet Cong. Always. He risked his life to bring us here. And now, I have disgraced him.
Yin, wait.
Please let me go.
Yin, you don't have to kneel down for anybody.
Please.
It's hard to imagine what she and her family have gone through. Years in refugee camps, near starvation. She finally escapes.
And ends up in the Los Angeles County Jail. Welcome to the land of opportunity.
I just feel like there's something going on between her and her father that could give us something to work with.
You think he's abusing her?
No. But there's something there. I don't like it.
Where the hell you been?
Seeing clients.
Catch you later, Rosie.
Is that all right with you?
Fine. I got news. You want to hear it?
Not unless it's good. What?
Lao Yi died at county this morning. Her girl's been upgraded, charged with murder.
I know you're not sleeping.
Not anymore.
Well, rise and shine. I have an idea on the Yin Tao case, but it's going to take a little creativity. See, we're really up against it with this murder charge, and now Delgado's intending...
Get to the punchline.
I need you to do a little surveillance work for me.
Forget it. Those days are over.
Kovac, this is important.
I spent 25 years on surveillance. It's a full-time adventure, and it's not part of my job description anymore.
Kovac, your job description is basically anything that I say it is. Now, something is going on with that family. Maybe the mother is more sympathetic to the daughter, even though her husband isn't. But I have to have a chance to talk to her alone. Maybe then I'll know what the hell it is I'm supposed to be defending.
Tell me to watch them. Find out what their habits are. Tell you when she's alone, yes?
Just for 2 days. If you don't spot a pattern in 2 days, I'm on my own.
48 hours and counting.
I told you I'm not very good in front of crowds.
Rosie, I mean, do you make a living talking to juries and stuff or what?
That's different. There are only 12 of them, and they're not 16 years old.
You're so weird sometimes, Rosie. You're gonna put that on the spaghetti?
It's linguine, and yes, I am. Why?
It's all green.
It's basil. Anyway, Kim, the point is...
The point is that you're always getting on my case that I don't care about school. So now, I try to take it seriously and get involved, and you won't help me.
What's the topic?
Women's roles in the 90s. Mr. Hare wants people who are role models to come in and talk. I mean, that's why I want you.
I'm a role model to you?
Yeah.
Well, how long does it take?
Just one afternoon. I mean, an hour and a half at the most.
Well,
I mean, it would mean so much to the class and to me.
okay.
Great. Oh, that's great, Rosie. You're the greatest. Nuts?
I beg your pardon?
Nuts on linguine?
Kim, look. Pesto is a traditional Italian sauce. They've been making it for 1 million years.
You're Irish.
That's why it's green.
Oh, just one more thing. I just need you to talk to Mr. Hare.
Why?
Oh, it's no big deal. An hour at the most, just with Mr. Hare and me. 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. Rosie, you will not regret this.
I'll bet.
Well, this is it. This is Mr. Hare's class.
Do you mind my asking what we're doing in a TV studio?
Yeah. Well, see, actually, Mr. Hare wanted to videotape the presentations for this documentary.
See ya.
Rosie, please, you promised.
I promised to do a presentation for 25 students, not to be filmed.
Taped, videotaped. And I was going to tell you, it's just that I figured you'd say no.
Smart girl.
Rosie, please.
Kim, I hate cameras. I don't think they should be pointed at anyone over 30, much less 40.
Mr. Hare. Hi.
Hi, you must be Kim's stepmother.
Not anymore.
Rosie, this is my social studies teacher, Mr. Hare.
Hi.
Hi.
Look, I'm terribly sorry. There seems to have been a little misunderstanding. I did not read the fine print, and I'm very uncomfortable in front of cameras. So I'm afraid I'm going to have to bow out. I'm sorry.
I understand.
You do.
Completely. I mean, the first time I had to talk in front of one of those babies, I thought I would sink into the floor. In fact, see that? It's from the sweat. Went right through my shoes. All right, so I'm exaggerating, but I know the feeling, believe me. I'm just sorry we're going to lose you. I mean, Kim has told me all about your exploits with the public defender's office. I've even caught your name in the paper now and then. It's very impressive.
Well, it's a job.
Hey, it is more than that, which is exactly why I was so excited about your involvement with the class project. I mean, these days, who can these kids look up to? There's no more 60s legends left. But there you are, killing yourself on a daily basis to help the disenfranchised and protect the Constitution. Wow. I mean, I could talk until I am blue in the face about the need to be politically active, but you are living it. It's just what they need to hear. We're sure going to miss that input. But I do understand.
No close-ups, okay?
You got it.
I don't know what to tell a bunch of 16-year-olds about being a woman in the 90s. Feminism is not a dirty word. You can have it all. Fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy ride.
I'd tell them never underestimate the power of a designer suit.
Valerie.
I'm serious, Rosie. I mean, you are what you wear as far as most of the world is concerned. My mentor taught me that.
And who was your mentor? Joan Collins?
Rosie O'Neill. Doreen, where have you been? I've left 3 messages for you. So what is this secret all about? Well, can't you just tell me on the phone? All right, fine. I'll be home all night. I'll talk to you later. Doreen, we're here to talk about you. Now, according to Mother, your children's lives are hanging in the balance.
Mother overreacts to everything. What does she think I'm going to do, abandon them?
Doreen!
I guess you've noticed I've been a little on edge lately.
A little.
For a while, I was blaming it all on Todd. He's not exactly Alan Alda, but he does try. In his own pathetically sexist way. So anyway, it finally hit me. It's my problem. I am the only one who can change my life.
So?
I took the law boards.
What? The LSATs?
Scored in the top 2 percentile.
Why would you want to take the law boards?
A couple of months ago, I went to a career counselor. Her test showed I have an aptitude for law.
I only got in the top 10.
I know.
What the hell are you doing taking law boards? You never told me you were ever interested
I
in
didn't want to tell anyone in case I blew them, not even Todd. But now, I really want to go.
Where?
To law school.
You're serious.
Rosie, with scores like this, I can get in anywhere. I'm young enough to do it, and old enough to know its worth.
Well, that's great. I guess. It is. I mean, it is great. So, you want me to write your recommendation?
Actually, I was hoping you would co-sign a bank loan for me for school.
A loan? What's the matter with Todd? He's making a killing sewing all those athletes' body parts back together.
I don't want Todd to know.
Well, He's gonna find out.
I don't want to have to ask him for the money. I want this to be something I do for myself. I thought you'd be happy for me.
Well, I am happy. It's just a little abrupt, that's all.
Abrupt? Rosie, I have been washing diapers, shuttling children, organizing a husband and a home every day for the past 9 years. So there's nothing abrupt about it. It's long overdue.
Doreen, law school is a killer. I mean, all you do is study constantly.
You think I don't know that? I went to Wellesley, too. Graduated summa cum laude, remember?
Well, you didn't have 3 kids.
I'm going to get help. That's partially what the money's for. And I'd ask Mom, but you know how tight up her trust is. I don't believe this. I thought that you, of all people, would understand. Rosie, what do you see when you look at me? A mother. Smart, but not that smart. Passive, wasting all that education. You don't see me. You judge me by my job, which in your eyes is less important than your job. I am a second-class citizen here.
That isn't true. Most people who don't have children and don't spend all day at home with them wouldn't understand, but I do. I see the job you do, and nobody's better at it. I couldn't do it. It's just too hard.
Don't patronize me, Rosie.
Doreen? I wasn't. This better be good.
You said the minute I had anything, let's go.
Go where?
Flower Mart.
The flower. It's 4 o'clock in the morning.
The stall's open at 5. My set's up from 5 to 5:30, while Say takes the boss's truck to make pickups. It's our only time to reach her when she's alone.
What about an interpreter?
I took care of that.
What's going on?
Oh, nothing. Just life as a woman of the 90s.
Hey. Code word Hmong.
You, Lamb?
Only if you're Kovac.
What is this, a spy movie?
Come on.
Hey, it's early. But you know, it's like we're a little bit closer to the natural state of the universe this time of morning.
You sure you speak Vietnamese?
Oh, sure. Languages are my thing. I try and learn as many as I can. Like right now, I'm into Shoshone and Swahili. Must be a primitive cultural phase, I guess. Kind of goes in cycles. A couple of years ago, I learned all the Russian states. You know, Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, Azerbaijan.
We'll take a look at your resume later, okay? Meantime, we gotta ask questions.
Hey, that's cool. Batao, con niệm mùng bia, cái gì bội tôi ông đã.
Ông phải nói với chồng tôi. Tôi không biết gì hết.
She says, talk to her husband.
Mrs. Tao, I saw you in the courtroom. I know it hurts to see your daughter in jail, and I can help to get her out, but I need you to tell me what is going on.
Batao, con niệm can bia.
No. No more talk. Go away.
Wait, Mrs. Tao.
Batao.
Your husband won't know that we spoke. Please.
Cham kuba hong ba ya be barakona chun choi, hu chung toi, yu lang lang wan yup.
Why? You fought for your daughter's life so hard in the past.
My trom toi yan wa Colombia gua coca.
She needs you more than ever now.
Be ye, kota kandonko hun bao Yaphet.
Dispose me.
Zij pos nyam. Marriage by capture. That's what happened to you the other night, isn't it, Ian? I talked to the minister at the drop-in center, and he explained the ritual to me. He said that according to tradition, the Hmong man selects a bride and goes to her house with another male. He kidnaps his chosen bride, and he takes her to his dwelling, where he consummates the engagement. The virtuous woman is expected to, actually required, to resist, forcing the man to overpower her, thereby establishing his masculinity. Is that why you defended yourself that night? Because he overpowered you and tried to force you to have sex with him?
It's not fair. It's just not fair.
No, it is not. And in our country, we call it kidnapping and attempted rape. And that's our case. Look, Yin, I know that in your culture things are a certain way and that your beliefs are very important to you. But there are certain laws and rules that go beyond any one culture. You cannot force anyone to consent to having sex against their will. That night, you were denied your rights as a free and conscious individual. Do you see that? Now, when we present this evidence...
No, you cannot. It has been hard enough for him already.
For whom? Lao?
My father.
Yin, did your father sanction this marriage?
Yes. And the father is to be obeyed until he dies.
It's a father's responsibility to protect his child. Instead, you've been treated like something that had to be bought and sold, like a cow.
Miss O'Neill, our traditions are all that we have in this country. We are not welcome here. But what is our choice? Starvation in the refugee camps or death at the hands of the communists? That is why we must not do anything to anger the Americans or we will be driven out. And where will we go? I have not only disgraced my father, but if what happened that night is told, I will bring evil on my people.
But going to prison isn't going to help your people, Yin. Being free and working to make a better life for yourself and them will.
I am sorry. Some things are more important than others.
Look, even if you're right about this marriage by capture stuff, how the hell do we know that was what was going on that night? Nobody's admitting it, not even your girl.
My girl is scared to death because of her cultural beliefs and because she doesn't want to bring evil on the Hmong community.
Oh, fine. What am I supposed to do?
I want you to reinvestigate with me and get this thing dropped.
Hold on, Rosie. Where did you go to law school? Because where I went, they told us you go with the evidence and the eyewitness. And at the moment, I've got the latter and you don't got the former. So that makes 2 strikes against your side. Give it up.
Well, maybe you missed the class where they told you that the burden of proof is on the prosecution, not the other way around.
Oh, okay. Well, let's say you are right. And this guy was required to carry this out. And she was required to resist. And he was then required to overpower her. Well, then, where's the attempted rape? All I see is a guy doing what he's supposed to do, according to his customs.
Oh, that's cute, Delgado. In some cultures, it's become customary to blow up innocent people on airplanes. What is the matter with you? My client was defending herself against a rapist. Plain and simple.
I'm sorry, O'Neill, but I see no intent. If it was an ethnic thing, it might have been consensual.
You gonna sell that to a jury?
The point is, I grew up poor in an immigrant LA neighborhood, too. And there are plenty Latino customs that may look strange to outsiders, but they're an important part of our culture.
I guess you missed the class on Daniel Webster, too. He said one must abide by the customs and the laws of the country in which one resides. You know, when in Rome.
Easy for him to say. He was a wasp living in America.
So, once she found out her husband had been unfaithful, Japanese custom required that she end her life to avoid shame and disgrace.
Wait a minute. Her husband was fooling around, and she's the one who's shamed and disgraced?
Yep.
Unbelievable.
So, she walked off the local pier and into the ocean. The only trouble was, in order to save her 2 young children from a lifetime of disgrace, she took them with her. The local fishermen jumped in after them, saved the woman, but lost the kids.
Japanese custom or not, they still charged her with murder.
The lawyer probably used the same reasoning Delgado's throwing back at me. Cultural factors. Except he's the prosecutor. Boggles the mind.
Forget it. Cultural arguments are spurious at best. Besides, nobody's actually saying that's what it is anyway, Rosie.
Well, I think the father is the key. He's the only one, except the brother and the dead man, who even knows what happened. Except he wants to protect his whole community.
He's got a point. It's pretty tough for outsiders to try to assimilate.
My folks did it.
And you're still not assimilated.
You're one to talk. Black men are about as stuck in the cultural mud as anybody.
What the hell does that mean?
It's the macho thing, Hank. All black men do it.
I don't.
Sure you do.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
Look, I'm telling you, I don't. You just listen for once in your life.
See what I mean? That's just what I mean. When I raise my voice, woman, that means it's time to listen.
I heard that.
I guess cultural arguments don't hurt your dart game, Rosie.
It's like there are these higher laws from above, you know, these great truths. And they always come down on the heads of women. Always.
No, not always.
Always. Ben, you're the one who told me you got this Orthodox morning prayer that says, "Thank God I'm not a woman."
That's a little out of context, Rosie.
Oh, really? You give me a context for that kind of wish. Your religion, most religions, are entirely male-dominated. Am I wrong? Exactly. You ever heard of a Catholic woman priest? You ever read the Baltimore Catechism that says in childbirth, if the woman and baby's life are in peril, save the baby? You know there are only 2 members of the U.S. Senate who are women? How'd you like to have been Anita Hill, who had to talk about sexual harassment in front of a bunch of old frat boys? I mean, the fact that they had to debate an equal rights amendment, let alone never passed it, is freaking ludicrous. I don't care what Yin Tao's tradition says. There is no God, no government, and no culture that I respect who says it's okay to rape a girl as long as her father and some suitor have a contract. It's a crime, plain and simple. And everyone has a right to defend themselves, even if it is with deadly force.
Funny, she doesn't look like a black man to me.
Hank? Think I got a little carried away at lunch? The women's rights stuff?
Do you?
No. But it's not a very popular position.
Show me one radical or progressive theory that ever was. You gotta fight for the truth, Rosie. Injustice has a way of perpetuating itself, you know? Give me you're tired, you're poor, so we can alienate them, make them feel like excess baggage. For a country built by immigrants, we sure don't have a lot of sympathy for displaced people. No, I don't think you got carried away, Rosie. Not in my book.
Well, it's an important book. Thanks. Yeah. What? Well, that's ridiculous. All right. I'll handle it. Mother just informed me you're thinking about selling the piano?
So?
Well, it's been in the family since the 20s.
And it was given to me, which makes it mine.
Well, don't you think that's a little selfish? Hawking an heirloom on a whim?
A whim? Is that what you call this? Rosie, you are so full of yourself, it's incredible.
This has nothing to do with me.
Wrong, sister. It has everything to do with you. Everything has always had everything to do with you. You and Dad made a pact to become law partners when you were, what, 12? I mean, what the hell chance did I have?
You never wanted to be a lawyer.
How do you know? Did you ever ask? Did he? No. It was always just assumed. You got there first, and that was that.
What? So you've been saying this is some deep-seated desire of yours all these years?
I'm saying I have always gotten the short shrift. That I have always been the younger sister of the apple of my father's eye. of the woman who made it big and then at age 43 decided to shift gears just like that and start all over again, practically from scratch. And who was there to back her up when the rest of the world told her she was nuts and acting on a whim? Her little sister, that's who. All I was asking is for you to return the favor.
And I appreciate you standing up for me. I do. And how was I to know what was going on in your head all those years? I am sorry, Doreen. But I can't figure you out lately. First, you're going to leave Todd. Then you think you might be pregnant. Now, you want to go to law school. I can't decide if you know what you're really getting yourself into.
Well, I guess that's the problem, isn't it, Rosie? You still think it's about you deciding. Well, it isn't. It's about me deciding.
That's right. But it's about me deciding whether to co-sign that loan.
I let you off the hook. I'm hawking the heirloom, remember? Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got things to do.
Mr. Tao, we're at the L.A. Public Defender's Office. We need to talk about your daughter.
No English. No English.
Baloney. Baloney. I heard you place 10 different flower orders the other day. Even said chrysanthemum in better English than mine.
What do you want from me?
Just a few straight answers and a chance for your daughter to live a real life, not spend 25 years in prison.
My daughter has brought shame upon her family and people.
I know about this marriage by capture ritual. You may think it's business as usual, but over here it's another story. Your daughter had every right to do what she did. That guy forced himself on her.
Laois was a brave young man who escaped with us from Lahore. He loved Yin, I proved, and she disobeyed me.
And you disobeyed American law. Now you're even. She's got a preliminary hearing tomorrow at 9. Be real nice. You stood up on her behalf.
Yes. Then we'll get to see American justice at work. They will free my daughter and come after the entire Hmong settlement. Maybe they'll have an excuse finally to deport us.
Look, I know it's tough being new in this country, but we all went through it.
But we all didn't work for the CIA to help the war effort and repel the communist regime. And we all didn't sacrifice our lives and our children's lives in the name of American justice. And we all weren't abandoned when the Americans decided to retreat. The Red Army was hard enough on those who stayed neutral, but to the Hmong, who sided with your armed forces, they showed a brutality that to this day I cannot believe. So, this time, I trust no government, no system of justice, no one but the Hmong themselves. If we must carry on in secret, and some of us must suffer to preserve our way of life, so be it. Yin understands that.
Mr. Tao, you may not believe this, but I think you and I are not that different. Huh? It has to do with pride and principles. But I found something out. I stood up for my principles even against my own flesh and blood, my son. Now he'll have nothing to do with me. Neither will his sister. There's a grandchild I haven't seen in over a year and a half. And I can tell you, father to father, that no principle or law or belief can make up for the loss that I feel every day of my life. We may be from opposite ends of the earth, you and I, but we're still capable of making the same mistake.
Oh, darling, you're going to be fine. Just be yourself.
Mother, I am a public defender, not a newscaster, and I belong in a courtroom, not a studio with that thing staring at me, magnifying all my flaws. I mean, it's like talking to an X-ray machine, except the whole world knows the results. Mother, do I look too fat in this suit?
Well, it's a little,
Never mind. Anything short of Madonna is going to look fat to them. Mother, I don't mean to be rude, but what are you doing here this early anyway?
Fiona, you know that I never interfere in disputes between you and your sister.
But you'll make an exception just this once.
She's so upset about all of this. I mean, I'm not exactly thrilled with what she's doing, but somehow law school does seem terribly important to her.
Look, I am not opposed to her going to law school. I just question whether she's thought this thing through.
She has. She just wants your blessing.
She wants my money.
Oh, Fiona.
Well, I'm sorry. I know she's planning on selling the piano, but do you think that's wise?
I don't know. I mean, it's hers to do with whatever she wants. Sure would make your father happy. She's putting it towards the study of law.
I just don't think Doreen knows what she's getting into. Or does she think this is some great romantic thing that I do? It's a lot of money to spend on a whim. Can't you go into real estate or something?
Sweetheart.
Okay. Maybe I don't want her to be a lawyer.
Well, you've certainly made me proud.
I have?
Of course you have. Everything you've accomplished. And I know it wasn't easy. Measuring up to your father's reputation. I don't think there are many things in life that are harder than that. It can be very painful. Living in someone's shadow.
What's that?
Dad's pen. To co-sign loan application. Class in Quimpro's a bitch. Let me know if you need a hand. My associate, Mr. Kovach, tried talking with your father. It doesn't look good. Yin, I'm begging you, let me tell the judge what really happened.
No.
Yin, I can't lie for you in this court. I can tell them the truth myself, you know.
And I will deny it.
Court is in session. Mr. Delgado, call your first witness.
The people call Mr. Chu Yi, brother of the deceased. Stop this.
Excuse me, sir. This is a court of law.
I want to help my daughter.
What is going on here, Miss O'Neill?
Your Honor, forgive me, but this is my client's father. I didn't anticipate his being here, but I believe he has some information that would be quite pertinent to this matter.
Nobody told me about this man. This is outrageous.
Your Honor, this witness has repeatedly refused to come forward. I was unaware that he planned to appear here today.
What are we doing, Miss O'Neill? Trial by surprise?
Your Honor, I've got a problem. May we approach?
Okay, gang. I think we need a little lobby time. My chambers now.
She knew exactly what they had in mind, Your Honor. When she resisted, the brothers, of course, assumed that she was being true to the Hmong custom. She told them she really meant it. But Lao persisted, of course, and he chased her into the kitchen. He knocked her down and dragged her feet first all the way across the apartment. By that time, she had the knife in her possession, and she made one final plea. But when Chu grabbed her by the throat, well, she swung wildly and instinctively with the knife in her hand, and she stabbed Lao Yi.
And you're telling me that she was willing to cover this up to protect her father?
He's a hero to her, and to her people, whom she has also been protecting. Anyway, now that Mr. Tao is willing to come forward, and from what I have just heard out in the courtroom, I'm anticipating that Mr. Yi will corroborate my client's story.
Mr. Delgado?
Excuse me, but... so fine, he corroborates the details. You've still got a case of a man doing what's prescribed by his law, his tradition, and his religion to do. And he's stabbed dead in the process. What do you call that?
I call it premeditated, attempted rape. It doesn't matter how you slice it, Delgado. She was defending herself. Cultural factors don't excuse anything here. This is about the oppression of women. And it's the same oppression that has kept every immigrant culture in this country, including yours and mine, down on their butts in the dirt until they finally fought back. Except for women, the fight is harder because they don't ever seem to be able to overcome the prejudice that they're still women first, and as such, second-class citizens in every country in the world. It is a matter of dignity. If by the end of this century, in the United States, the model of free society, women have not been accepted as equals, then we have failed. Now, this time, the American legal system protected Yin and her right to say no and her right to determine the course of her own life. This time. But, as I'm sure Mr. Hare has pointed out to all of you, the battle rages on, even in America. You are the generation that will lead us into the new age. I pray that you do it with dignity and with self-assurance. And I thank you, and I wish you luck.